In this video, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of moving to Montreal. 5 pros, 5 cons you can't miss if you're thinking of moving to Montreal. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Thomas Casarotti and I'm a local realtor here in Montreal. In this video, you'll discover some of the things that you may have heard or that you may never have heard about Montreal. I'm outside in a beautiful park here in Montreal. You may hear the highway because I'm not far from the highway. I'll actually show you from the drone footage. Beautiful park, beautiful sunny day. Can't miss. Can't wait for the summer to come back. We're late March in 2021, early spring, some people may call it, the optimistic ones, but it's beautiful out there. So I'll show you 5 pros and 5 cons, and then I'll give you some of my personal opinion. Actually, everything is going to be based a little bit tinted on my personal opinion, but this is something that you must know if you're thinking of moving here. First, I'd like to talk to you about the real estate market. Realtor, real estate, can't miss. First point. So this is actually a pro in Montreal. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people, there is a high inbound of people from overseas because of this reason. When you consider the big cities in Canada, we're talking about mostly Vancouver, Toronto, Ottawa. You have really affordable housing compared to those big cities in Montreal. Here is a graph that will show you some of the price points. You'll see that we have Vancouver up top, then Toronto, then Ottawa, then Montreal. So I'll also show you here, there is a graph comparing other big cities in other big cities in Canada. So I'll give you a better idea for condos and for houses. The second pro is actually nature. Montreal is a very green city. You have tons of parks around Montreal, in Montreal, like this park, we have like about 5,000 acres of parks on the island. So this is amazing. And then if you go around Greater Montreal, for example, on the sister island north of Montreal, then you have about 300 parks. So every neighborhood has their own parks and main attractions that you can visit. And some of them are very well hidden, so it's like hidden gems that you'll get to discover when you're moving to Montreal. Then the third pro of moving to Montreal is really about the universities, school, high school, trade schools. We're so well equipped with so many schools, universities, trade schools. Right now we have the options, you name it, French, English, trade, whatever trade you're thinking about, probably we got it. So that's one of the reasons why we have such an inbound of immigration from students and families that are choosing to live in Montreal because of that access to so much education. Then another pro is transportation. Actually, the commute is super easy around Montreal. We have 50 new kilometers of bike path that are built every year with more than 1,000 already set up. 68 metro station. Metro we call the subway. So if you hear talking about the metro, it's the subway. You can rent a car, rent a bicycle. There are more than 3,000 bicycles out for rent in the summer. Is really made easy for getting around Montreal. Then another pro, and this is the last pro before we get into the cons, is really about the culture. Really about the culture here. I mean, there are 150 festivals all year long. There are different festivals. There's something to do all the time. You can't do them all. That's one of the things that, you know, it's a pro, but actually the con is that you can't have it all. But there are so many festivals all around the island. It's beautiful. Festivals that are riverfront, some other festivals that are in the city. So many festivals, winter, summer, fall, spring, all the time there is something to do in Montreal. And that was the last pro that I had to mention today. Then we're getting into the cons. So first con that you probably, I can put money on it, you probably heard of it. winters. So you probably heard about the winters. So winters are rough in Montreal. We're talking about real rough. They're not long though. That's one thing that, when you get used to living here, winters kind of shrink because you get used to it in a funny way. For example, you get, I would say the real harsh winter is from, let's say holidays time around Christmas, New Year, and then it goes hard and steady until I would say beginning of March. Early March, you can start getting some days where suddenly snow is melting everywhere. The worst things about winter is really about, I would say, the wind. Like a windy day today, it's nice, but it's so easy to get mistaken and actually underdress, like I did today, for example. I don't know if it shows on the video, but actually my hands are a little bit frozen now. But the wind is cool, it's cold. So that you can very easily see the sun, you see no more snow, snow is gone, and then all of a sudden you go out and you're like, I think I should have picked up a bigger jacket. So that is very common. Those are the cons. That's one of the main cons that you probably heard of. Then French. Another con is really about the language. It's a con if you don't speak it, obviously, but actually a lot of jobs, especially as you progress in a company, as you climb the ladder, as we use the expression, French is highly required. I've worked for international companies, Italian companies, American companies, and there were employers, some of the people I work with, they were mainly Anglophone, but they were actually following courses in French. I think that it's nice to speak another language, don't get me wrong. But the fact that the market, for certain positions requires the French, that is a con because it's actually a limiting thing, in my opinion. Another con I can say is the income, sales taxes, income taxes. So Quebec is known as one of the most expensive provinces, even though other provinces have caught up as for living. So that is a con that you can actually check when you're actually planning on moving here. I can give you websites where you can actually plan what will be your net salary, for example, versus your gross salary. So also, I'll give you also here in the screen, I'm going to show a chart where it shows the different taxes in the different provinces, so you can compare. But just consider that the income and the salaries are not the same as, let's say, for example, our neighbor in Ottawa and Ontario. I have friends that actually moved to the eastern part of Quebec in order to actually have the salaries from Ontario. So it's a very common thing to know about for the people that live here. But with the arrival of employers, things are of big names in big companies, things are changing a little bit, but we still have a lot to catch up. Another con, unfortunately, even though everything looks nice here, infrastructure, traffic, construction. For sure, if you visit the city, you'll notice that there is always construction. There is pretty much all the time somewhere where you're going to see orange cones, and these are they became also very related to the culture here. So you'll find a lot of construction in many places, and also I don't know exactly the reason is, and I don't want to get political in this, but it seems to be that the quality of the asphalt, with the combined with the harsh winters, it's just very different. And I've been to other places in Canada where they have huge winters, and we see that they have better asphalt. So that's one of the reasons why I think it's a con. It's just because the construction, traffic, and the infrastructures are not the best. Let's put it that way. Another con is the healthcare system. We have here you probably hear it from people. If you actually know people that live here, they'll complain about it. The healthcare system is very modern. So the technology side and the science is up there. However, the pace at which they supply healthcare to people has a lot to desire. In my personal opinion, I've been to the emergency room and they were waiting for many hours over a night. And so I had some experience, and I've heard experiences from people that it took long. However, once you're served, you're very well served, in my opinion. So I have nothing to say about the people that work in there. It's just that, you know, I think there is a lack of supply for those services. And that's what makes actually that it takes a little bit longer. And my 2 cents, I think in my opinion, my 2 cents in order to give you the pros and cons of moving to Montreal, I honestly think it's a great city. I think it's one of, if not the greatest city in the world to live in. You have such a variety of lifestyles. You have such a variety of neighborhoods. You have such a variety, you have the whole spectrum of lifestyle. You have from the wealthiest to the student life. Really, you have everything. And I think the nightlife, the culture, the people, great. I've been very well welcomed. It's 20 years soon that I live in this city. And really, I've been very well welcomed from when I came from Argentina. And overall, you'll discover that the city has a lot of it has a different culture than anywhere in Canada. And mostly in the US, a lot of people from the US love to come here. The restaurants, I mean, 9,000 restaurants, something like that. This is post-COVID, I don't know the exact number for the restaurants, but I read statistics at some point that there was one of the highest per capita, per person restaurant count on average. So we're talking about a culture that really enjoys living outdoors. The outdoors is always there. I don't know if it actually shows on the camera, but there is people walking by here all the time in this park. And this is in a small neighborhood in the north of Montreal, which is very residential. So I hope you like it. Look, if you're thinking of moving to Montreal and you like somebody that knows the area, that's been through the actual moving to Montreal. I moved a few times around Montreal, so I know very well the neighborhoods here. If you're looking for a realtor, send me an email, send me a text. I'll leave all my information where you can find it, and hoping to help you when you're moving to Montreal. I'll catch you later. Stay tuned for future videos. Subscribe and all those things that you know, like, comment, subscribe, like they say in all the videos. So thank you for watching if you made it this far.